Hello everyone, it is Toby here, back for another session here in the garage gym where we are still on the road to a 300 kilo deadlift. So in today's deadlift session, we're going to be hitting it pretty hard, pretty heavy, and not at all science-based. That is right. Today's video is all going to be focused around me talking about why I choose to train like heavy and fun compared to the science-based training that has become super popularized over the last few months to few years, and talk about why personally it's not for me, why it might be for some of you, and why generally, in my opinion, lifting heavy, lifting hard tends to be the way to go. At least, for me. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I want to make my case here. So before we get into all of that rant and argument about lifting heavy versus science-based training, I'm going to go into a bit of a session plan, and our plan as far as the deadlifts is concerned we are continuing with our heavy triples. Last week I hit 250 for a triple, which moved super easy, so today we're going to be doing 255 kilos for a triple, hopefully making it look good, making it look nice, and making it look really, really, really good, so we can move again to a heavier triple next week, and then see where our blocks take us from then on. And then of course, after the heavy deadlifts, we follow it up with another heavy barbell movement. In the past, this has been heavy barbell rows. Today, it is going to be really heavy Romanian deadlifts to just finish off the hamstrings and posterior chain. Really good deadlift accessory for me. Then we're going to move on to a heavy row. So usually this would be single arm dumbbell rows, but I've now got to the point where I've run out of space to put weight on the heavy dumbbell row. And a comment suggested that I switch these out for Meadows rows with a barbell, and I thought that is a fantastic idea, so we're going to give them a go today, because that'll allow me to use some more weight on that implement, and it is very similar to a single arm dumbbell row. And then we're going to move on to lat pull downs, vertical pulling. Every back day has to have some sort of vertical pulling in it, and then we're going to finish off with some back isolation with some chest supported dumbbell rows. The closest thing I get to science-based lifting is these chest supported incline dumbbell rows. And then bit of grip to finish it off, but nothing to shout about there. So as I get warmed up for the deadlifts here, we're going to go into the first point of contention with science-based training versus just lifting heavy and going at it. Is science-based training is all surrounded and focused upon lifting within your capabilities, really feeling every single rep, controlling the eccentrics, doing the exercises that allow you to isolate the muscles in the best way possible, feel the best, put no stress on the joints. All of that stuff just make you feel awesome about doing the lifting, and it makes lifting feel good. And in my opinion, my humble opinion anyway, is that lifting should not feel good like a heavy squat, a heavy deadlift. These are not things that feel good while you're doing them. They suck. No one wants to sit in the hole of a heavy squat for more than they have to, which is why doing pull squats and stuff is awful, but it stands to reason. Like, yes, you feel absolutely incredible after the lift is done, but it doesn't feel good while you do it. It feels hard, it feels heavy. It puts you in a space of uncertainty whether you finish the lift, which is why lifting heavy is so much better for you than lifting scientifically. It teaches you to feel uncomfortable. It teaches you to be comfortable being uncomfortable, putting your body in a stressed position and allowing you to overcome that. It is just as much of a mental game as it is a physical game. And for me, that is where I get the most benefit out of lifting heavy and lifting hard compared to the science-based, controlled eccentrics, stuff feeling really good, all of that stuff. It has to feel hard, it has to feel heavy, it has to challenge me both mentally and physically. As I step up to the bar to do this heavy deadlift, it's going to make me a little bit anxious, it's going to frighten me a little bit, and that's good. It means that I am in the exact area that I want to be. I shouldn't be going up to it feeling like this is a breeze. This is not why I'm in the gym. I'm here to challenge myself, I'm here to grow, I'm here to push myself, and that is what keeps me coming back every single day. If it was easy, I wouldn't bother. So that's my first little rant out of the way. Before I do get into the heavy deadlifts, I just want to say this is all for a laugh. Like, if you do science-based training and it works for you, that is fantastic. Like, obviously, the best training you can do is the training that keeps you coming back every single day. This is just me explaining why, for me, Personally, that is not the science-based side of things. That is the coming in, lifting heavy, having fun. And I think if you're watching this channel, you probably share a similar outlook as I do. But of course, if you are one of these people who love science-based training, come to this video because it has science-based training in the title and you want to defend it with your honor. I respect that. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts. Just keep it constructive, keep it without hate. We're all friends here. We're all in the fitness space. And as I said, the best form of exercise you could do is the exercise that keeps you doing it. So without further ado, I'm going to be very scientific and lift some heavy fucking weights. Oh. So deadlifts there look really, really good. Form's feeling much more solid than it has done before. And 255 for a triple is a very good place to be for me as far as a gym lift goes. My best gym lift triple is a 260 triple, I believe. And obviously in competition, I've done 260 for 5. But competition lifts live on slightly different pedestal than gym lifts because I tend to overperform in competition. When you've got the crowd, you've got the pressure. When it's just me here training away, it is harder to hit those extra grinder reps. So hitting 255 for a triple fairly comfortably is always a big win. But now we are going to get on to the second point of my science-based lifting versus heavy lifting debate that I'm having with no one this video. And that is the point that with science-based lifting, you have got so much to keep track of that it actually becomes almost too complicated. It's really overcomplicated, and I think this is a thing that is happening more and more recently, and I'll get into just why in just a second. So I think what this stems from is the age of social media and people wanting to find the best way to do something, or the best way to do this, that, the other, to put out there and get as many clicks as possible. Everyone is looking to make their training as unique and as complicated as possible. Which is where the science-based training really takes away from the core principles of the gym for me. I like to get in here, know what weight, what exercise, and how many reps that I've got to do on a particular exercise. Those are the only 3 things I'm tracking: is what I'm doing, how heavy am I doing it, and how many times am I doing it. That's all I want to track. Gym should be as simple as that for me. But where you get into the science-based training side of things, you start thinking about which configuration this machine's going to be in. How many seconds am I going to pause it? How many seconds am I going to control the eccentric? Am I going to control the eccentric, do partials, do all it? Like, it becomes super, super complicated and convoluted. And without spending hours and hours sitting down and trying to figure out where you are, it becomes a real headache to try and remember it all. I like to get into the gym, put my phone down, with just my program up on it, showing what I've got to do with a checklist order, check it off as I go. And I don't want to have to do any maths, anything like that. Whereas when you do this science-based training, you've got to come in, you've got to count every second of every rep, make sure you're feeling it in the right muscle group, make sure you're isolating it in the right way, blah, 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 blah. It's just too much for me. I can't handle it. And if you get in and you can, fantastic. I know obviously it's the same principle. You could just write it all down like I do with my weight, reps and sets. But when you've got so much more to keep on top of, it just becomes way too overcomplicated, and you somehow then need a maths degree to do your workout. And it really shouldn't be that way. People, as I said, are looking now to overcomplicate their training way too much. And especially in Strongman as well, like the basics are just all you need. I'm trained by one of the best Strongman coaches there is, Big Loz, and the principle is the exact same as you'd find anywhere else. The value there comes in him knowing how to peak you over the course of a long period of time, how to overcome niggles, injuries, how to work around different things. But the actual training itself is as simple as squat, deadlift, overhead, and the accessories that go with that, with a few strongman events sprinkled in there. You don't need to do like partial one-handed farmer's hold with straps. Like, you don't need to just complicate it this much. You don't have to You don't have to target every single muscle group at all the same time, or none at all apart from one. Like it's just far too complicated. And I'm even confusing myself trying to explain that fact. So that is, yeah, the second principle as to why I personally don't like the science-based side of things is it's just too much to keep on top of. You want training to be simple, you want training to be effective. You come in, you lift heavy, you do the basics, and it'll get you surprisingly far. Like, I'm a natural athlete. I've been doing it consistently now for about 3-4 years. I started in March of 2020, so yeah, just over 4 years now of consistent just training, the basics, squat, bench, deadlift, overhead, for the last 4 years, obviously with Strongman and stuff sprinkled in where I have, and event-specific training when I need it, but the core principles have always been the same, and I've got pretty far. I've gone from a 100 kilo deadlift all the way up to now approaching 300 kilo completely naturally. No fancy training, just the basics, getting in and getting it done. You don't need super science-based lifting to do any of that. You just need to, get stuck in. So that is the second reason why just getting in and getting it done works better for me. Again, if it's something you find addictive, something you find interesting, making sure all of your exercises are super complicated, super hooked up with bands, tension, time under tension, partials, all of this. If that's something you really enjoy, then more power to you. I'm not trying to take away lifting from anyone. I'm trying to be as inclusive here as possible. I'm going to keep repeating it because someone's going to comment, well, I like science-based training, so you shut up. And I'm like, cool, go do it. But for me, and for, I'm sure, a lot of people who are just getting into the training and seeing this huge wave of science-based influencers doing the most complicated things here and there, might find it quite daunting and quite difficult to get stuck into it. You don't need to. It's not an absolute need at all. The basics will work absolutely fine, if not better in most scenarios, and that is the point of this video. But I have rambled on about the second point for just long enough that I am now rested and ready to get into the heavy RDLs. So we're going to load up the bar pretty darn heavy. We're going to try and get 2 sets of 6 to 8. I'm going to film one of them for you guys, and I'm going to show you it right now. So as you can see, my lifting heavy and just getting it done does not only apply to the compound movements, it applies to the accessories as well. And God, sets of 8 RDLs at 180 kilo are super hard. The first set, which is the one I recorded when you saw, looked easy, but felt really hard, especially on the last 2 reps. And then the second set has left me completely out of breath, completely dying, and really had to dig deep to get those final 2 reps there. So again, perfect example of forcing yourself into the uncomfortable, mind over matter, all of that thing. Really good mental training. If you have the mental strength to get through a set like that, you can do an amazing amount of things. But the heavy accessories do not stop there. As I said, we are moving on to the single arm row, usually with a dumbbell, but because I've surpassed the weights that can feasibly go on my dumbbell, I have moved to the single arm Meadows row formation. So this is going to be a true test. I've loaded it up to just heavier than what I'm used to on the dumbbell. And this is the proof of concept, seeing how good it feels. We should be able to get a much deeper range of motion, as it's only the end of a barbell I have to bring up. So this could be pretty tough. 3 sets of 10 per arm. I think it's 3 sets of 6 to 10 per arm, so might end up being slightly less reps just as I get used to it, but I can tell this is going to feel like a really, really good variation. And then, of course, after that, we're followed with lat pull downs, vertical pulling, every single program, etc., etc., and the chest supported dumbbell row as well. So as usual with these 3 accessories, I like to combine them into one little montage, so you can see all of my back accessories that I do to finish my back off after a heavy deadlift and RDLs and all of that. So that's what I'm going to do, and then once all that's out the way, I am going to chat to you exactly about the last point and the most important point of science-based versus just heavy, having fun lifting. So stay tuned for that. Here are my accessories. Two hours into the session and accessories done. My back is feeling super pumped, super fried, and in a really good place. Those Meadows rows variation are the fantastic, most amazing substitute for dumbbell rows. Honestly, they're awesome. Thank you to the comment that recommended those, because yeah, I can properly load it heavy now, and I actually feel challenged by the single arm variation, which I haven't done in a long while because my dumbbells top out at about 60 kilos. So being able to load 70 on there and really blast it was absolutely fantastic. The first set I got 10 on each arm, the second set I got 8 on each arm, and the final set I got 6 on each arm. So perfect weight for me to start building back up on those. And then yeah, the lat pull downs, chest supported dumbbell rows, same as always, nice and heavy, nice and strict for the dumbbell chest supported rows, as they're the finisher. But yeah, my back is looking thick, looking juicy. So that is where the end of the back day comes. Going to do a little bit of grip, not going to record it, just keep my grip ticking over. I like to do it at the end of a back day because I've warmed my grip up on the dumbbell rows. Everything else I've used straps for, so my grip isn't too worn. But yeah, the last thing we've got to do in this video though is talk about the final point as to why I prefer the way I lift over the science-based training that has overtaken social media recently, and let me see if you agree. So the main takeaway I have from the science-based training versus just getting in and getting it done approach that I do is that my approach is just more fun. I've tried the science-based training, I've tried the bodybuilding type time and attention, high rep, feel the muscle contract. It's not for me. I find it so boring. I haven't done a bicep curl in about a year and I'm better off for it. I just find that sort of training supremely boring. Anything over 10 reps, I just can't fathom doing. It's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just not fun to me. I like getting in here, pushing my body and mind to the absolute extreme, doing super heavy weight for a fair amount of reps. Not a huge amount of reps, but a fair amount of reps. Really pushing not only the strength, the endurance, the mental strength, the ability to overcome uncomfortable situations. That is why I'm in here. That is why I'm training. I'm training all facets of strength in here. And for me, science-based training doesn't do that. It keeps you comfortable. And yes, it has science to support it. That's the only thing. But so does this. Who doesn't get jacked from getting in here and lifting heavy weight? It just doesn't happen. And you've got to keep training fun. As I said at the start of this video, the best training for you as an individual is the training that keeps you coming back and keeps you doing it day in, day out, even when you feel like shit. And for me, that is heavy lifting. I may not be able to lift super heavy every day, but I can push myself to earn PBs on not only the compounds, but the accessories every single day. Every single session, I PB on something, whether that just be on lat pull downs, whether that be on grip, whether that be a deadlift. You know, I'm always pushing the boundaries. I'm always getting better and better each session. And not every session is going to be like that. There'll be 1 or 2 sessions where you cannot PB something, and that's okay. The fact you're in there and you're still getting it done is the best thing. But for me, the main reason why I like lifting heavy and I like just knowing what weight, what reps, and what sets to do. Don't need to faff with any of the science-based stuff. Is because it's enjoyable, it's fun, and supremely on top of that, strongman. That's why I do strongman. It gets me away from the barbell. It gets me doing random things like Atlas stones, wheelbarrow runs, pushing cars, pulling trucks, all sorts. Like, that's why strongman takes the cake for me. It's just fun. It's just really fun, and that is, at the end of the day, the most important thing. So let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my sentiment. Do you yourself do science-based training where you take it a bit more academically, you take it with a considered approach, and you really absolutely control every part of the workout to make it as comfortable but as effective as you can? Let me know if that works for you. But I'm sure the majority who watch this channel, like myself, like getting in, challenging themselves, lifting heavy. And if that is you, let me know down below. And if there is another third facet of training that I haven't gone into, again, let me know down below. It's always good to have a discussion on these videos. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe down below, because I do weekly training videos following my journey of lifting heavy and having fun, trying to build this 300 kilo deadlift into existence. We're getting close to these triples. Are feeling super, super good. And I'm pushing myself harder than I have ever done before. So if you want to be part of that journey, feel free to subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000. That's where I want to get to. So wouldn't it be awesome if we get 1,000 subs and 300 kilo deadlift on the same day? We will see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't liked the video, please be sure to go ahead and do so. It really helps me out. But otherwise, I hope you did enjoy. I hope you didn't get offended by my debate. I'm sure you didn't. But anyway, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.